My name is George Ndawa from Nairobi, Kenya. I'm a pastor. I'm a father of 9 children. And my children, biologically, I have 4. That's what I can say. But the 5 I adopted from my late brother, who passed on with the wife. They were both infected with HIV/AIDS. So the children remained and there was no one to take care of them, so I had to bring them in. In fact, by then, our residential house was as big as this room where we are sitting right now. And this is all we had for the bedroom, the kitchen, the dining hall, the sitting room. But like any other typical Kenyan, I feared. And in fact, if it was not my wife, I would have not done it. Let me confess that. Because I was recommending that we support them from far. She said that however hard it is, it will be much easier for us to have them with us. We struggled a lot, but there is something that I learned from the struggle, that God takes care of orphans. I personally never was employed. I didn't have any permanent job. With friends that we meet, sometimes people just look at you and they don't even know your story. That is what happened to me. There is somebody whom, like one time, this was very big in my brains. We met, and this was an American. And 2 years he writes to me a letter and says, George, me and my wife have been praying a lot for you, and we want to know, what kind of need do you have right now, because we have some money here. We want to bless you. And this guy ended up sending me more than enough money that I needed. If I would have feared to bring them in, I'm very sure none of these people would have given me money. But just because God takes care of his children, and as he says that he's the father of the fatherless, you know, I remind myself of these words and I see them in reality when I have these children with me here. So it's a great inspiration that I keep telling my fellow pastors and Kenyans not to fear. According to the latest statistic, which was carried on, I think 2 years ago, by the government and UNICEF together, they said that we have 2.7 million children in the orphanages, and 2.7 million children were only those who are in the registered orphanages, because the church-run orphanages are not registered. So we started a movement in Kenya to bring children back to families instead of children's homes. And in this movement, we do conferences with churches throughout the country. We do seminars and trainings to pastors so that they can keep the fire burning wherever they are. In 2005, a group of missionaries came to do a conference in Nairobi, and I was part of the pastors who organized this meeting. So there is one guy who traveled with them. He pulled me aside one day, the second day of the meeting, and he said, George, you know what? I wanted to see children. Do you have any place where we have an institution for children, something like that? I took him to the 3 places in one day. He got stuck in the children's home. I went and picked him up, and the following day he insisted he wants to go back there. After the end of all that, he fell in love with this little girl. So in 2007, he came with his wife. That's a requirement by the Kenyan law. Through adoption, the whole family must be here, because the social workers will be visiting with you time and again to see how you are blending with the new child that you are getting into your family. And I thought, this is crazy. The guy stayed in Kenya close to 1 year. It was just fortunate that he could work online. But there are some times that they needed his presence in America, so he kept going. When they need him, he flies back and comes again. To me, I thought that was a lot of money. a lot of money. In fact, in the end of it, the amount of money he told me that he used blew my mind off. Because I was thinking, oh my goodness, if you would have used this to support like 10 or between 10 and 15 Kenyan children, the 15 of them would have gotten families. There is a realization through that lesson that we learned that if we get people from outside who have a heart, may not have the time to come to Kenya and sit for a whole year to adopt one child. This is my humble recommendation. Because also there are some people who have the love to have that child at home. That is okay. But there is somebody who has the love but doesn't have the time and doesn't have the call to adopt the child but can support. I think it is a whole church responsibility, the body of Christ. And it would be very good if we come together as the children of God. Let us unite, put our hands together, support these families. In the end, God is the one who is going to be glorified. In fact, we are not doing it for ourselves. Even those families, they are not going to get glory, but God will. And I think that is the basic and the best part of this story.